A single satellite frame just fired $8 million in flood payouts across this book. No adjuster, no second look, and one of these triggers is paying out on a shadow. TriggerProof runs in front of that trigger, not instead of it. It does not detect the flood and it does not replace the claims platform. It takes each fired trigger as given and adjudicates it into a defensible call: pay, deny, or escalate. Here is the book before adjudication. 6 of the 8 sites tripped the legacy trigger and are marked pay, $8 million queued. Every flagged row is still waiting on 3 checks: verify, cross-reference, and gate. One click runs the real pipeline on every flagged site. A deterministic physics verifier makes the call, an advisory agent only cross-references it, and a policy gate decides. The physics decides, the model never does. The book resolves in seconds. Of the $8 million queued, $4 million is confirmed for 2 real floods in green. The rest is withheld. 3 false positives denied in red and 1 case in amber, escalated for proof. Start with the site that looks most like a flood. Mesa Junction Depot, a $1.2 million trigger. The single frame saw water. 3 frames tell a different story. The dark patch shows up only in the trigger frame and it is gone 6 days later. Meanwhile, the radar stayed bright the whole time. It saw dry ground straight through the cloud. The shadow moved. Real water would have stayed. The physics says the same thing in plain code. Temporal persistence fails, 1 frame of 3. Radar and optical disagree. The rules reject it, and the trigger is denied as a cloud shadow, with a printable dossier and a machine-readable record behind it. Now the opposite case. Rio Verde Terminal, a $2 million trigger, and this one is real. The water signature persists across every frame, radar and optical agree, and the river gauge on the ground corroborates it. All 5 rules pass at confidence 0.99. This one pays. Highland Pass Yard Trip 2, but here the radar reads dark while the optical stays bright on a 45-degree slope. Water cannot pool on a cliff. This is a radar shadow denied. Lakeside Logistics looks like water in every frame because it is water. The flagged region sits fully inside the known reservoir mask. A permanent lake, not a flood event. Denied. Canal Street Hub is the hard one. The physics rules pass, but the signal is weak and confidence lands at just 0.15, far below the 0.65 automation bar. And the independent river gauge never crossed flood stage, so the ground evidence contradicts the trigger. Rather than guess on $800,000, the gate routes it to a human. Escalate, do not bluff. Every number here is reproducible, and the demo is honest about its limits. The imagery is synthetic, physically faithful stand-ins for real Sentinel data. Field validation against real archives is the first engagement, not a claim made here. Beyond this one book, a benchmark. 60 labeled cases from clear signatures to near threshold noise, scored 1 at a time. The headline is the safety number: 0 unsafe automated decisions, against 48 for the single frame baseline that pays every flag. This system never makes an unsafe automatic call. 80% of cases resolve on their own, the rest escalate. And among those resolved automatically, every false positive is caught. 36 of 36 shadows denied, and 12 of 12 real floods paid, all on this fixed labeled set. Every scored case opens its own record. This one is genuinely ambiguous, so the same 5 rules, the confidence and the ground signal, all point one way. Too close to call, escalated rather than guessed. Back on the book, none of this is a black box. Every single call, pay, deny, or escalate writes a forensic dossier. This is the record for the cloud shadow that got denied. At the top, the verdict, classified cloud shadow, and the plain language reason it is not a flood event. Below it, the per rule evidence, all 5 discriminators, what each one measured, and pass or fail. This is the exact code path that reached the decision. A false positive elimination log names the exact rules that killed the trigger, and an advisory cross-reference records what the independent ground signal said about it. Then a full data lineage, and a SHA-256 hash of the record. A reinsurer or an auditor can confirm that nothing was altered after the call. An automatic payout is only as trustworthy as the trigger behind it, and a single frame cannot tell a shadow from a flood. Adjudicate before the payout, and every decision becomes one a reinsurer can defend. From Veriprajna, Building True Intelligence. See it run at veriprajna.com/demos/satellite flood intelligence.